All right, let's talk about financial ethics. It's one of those topics where a single tiny decision, a split-second choice can create this massive ripple effect. We're talking about things that can literally bring down empires and completely wreck careers. People think the line between right and wrong can be kind of blurry, but believe me, the consequences, they're always crystal clear.
So, I want to kick things off by asking you something directly. And look, this isn't some abstract question just for the big shots on Wall Street. This is for all of us. Really think about it. Because your answer, well, it gets right to the heart of your own personal ethics. What do you really do when you think nobody's watching? And this whole idea isn't some new age, feel-good thing. We're talking about Adam Smith, the father of modern economics, saying this over 2 centuries ago. He made it super clear. Ethics aren't just a nice little add-on to the market. Nope, they are the foundation. Take away that trust, and the entire system just collapses.
Okay, so for our first section, let's start with a rule we all learned back in kindergarten, right? Don't take stuff that isn't yours. It's so simple, but that same exact rule applies whether you're on the playground or a high-tech trading floor. The only difference? The consequences. Well, they get a whole lot bigger.
Look at this. The core idea is exactly the same. Whether it's a student plagiarizing a paper or a programmer committing corporate code theft, you're stealing someone else's work. Period. The only thing that changes are the stakes. And guys like Sergey Aleynikov from Goldman Sachs or Yihao Bin Pu from Citadel, they learned that lesson the hard way. We're talking serious jail time for stealing valuable proprietary code.
And that ripple effect we mentioned? It's huge. A single act of theft, it's not just about the person who got their ideas stolen. It hurts everyone around them, their classmates, their professors, the school's reputation. And yeah, at the end of the day, it poisons the person who did the stealing too. It just spreads and spreads.
All right, so that's theft. But what happens when the crime isn't about taking something, but about hiding something? Let's talk about the price of deception, especially when you're trying to cover up absolutely massive losses from some really reckless trades. So let's take a look at Barings Bank. This place was an absolute institution. It was founded way back in 1762, the oldest merchant bank in London. It financed wars, it funded entire empires. It was so respected that the Queen of England herself banked there. You think a place like that was completely invincible, right?
Well, it took just one person to bring the whole thing crashing down. One, a single trader named Nick Leeson. He was hiding his enormous losses in a secret account, and because nobody was really watching him, he just kept going. He managed to rack up enough debt to single-handedly bankrupt a 230-year-old institution, all by himself. It's just staggering.
And believe it or not, this wasn't just a one-off crazy event. Over at Société Générale, another trader, Jérôme Kerviel, secretly lost, wait for it, $7.2 billion. Now, to really put that number into perspective, that was more than the entire market value of the bank at the time. The price of these hidden lies can be absolutely astronomical.
So this leads us right into our third big area, betraying a client's trust. The whole relationship between a financial pro and their client, it's supposed to be built on this almost sacred duty of trust. So what happens when that trust is completely shattered?
It all boils down to this one crucial idea: fiduciary responsibility. It's a fancy term, but what it means is simple. It's a legal and an ethical promise that your advisor is going to act in your best interest, not their own. It's supposed to be the absolute bedrock of the entire financial advisory world. But, as you can probably guess, this duty gets violated a lot. A classic case is the Goldman Sachs banker Fabrice Tour. He was selling these incredibly complex, risky mortgage products to his clients, products that he pretty much knew were designed to fail, all without telling them the real danger. He put his own firm's profits way ahead of his client's financial health. That's a textbook betrayal of his fiduciary duty.
And you see, this kind of stuff, it just eats away at the very foundation of the market. Trust just evaporates. And that relationship, which should be a partnership, turns into one of suspicion. The whole game changes, and the new rule becomes caveat emptor. Let the buyer beware. You're on your own.
Okay, so we've covered taking what's not yours, we've covered lying and deception, and we've covered betraying trust. For our last section, let's look at specific trades that are so fundamentally unfair to the market that they're straight up illegal. First up, the one you've probably heard of, insider trading. Basically, it's using secret non-public information to make a profit. Think about it like playing a game of poker, but you've got a magic power that lets you see everyone else's cards. It's just not fair. And of course, the famous Martha Stewart case really brought this into the spotlight and showed everyone that, yeah, nobody is above the law on this one.
Now here's a more complex one, called spoofing. The best way to think about it is this. Imagine shouting fire in a crowded theater, just so you can watch everyone panic and run, leaving a better seat for you. Spoofing is pretty much the market version of that. A trader puts in these massive orders to buy or sell something, which tricks everyone into thinking the price is about to go way up or way down. But then, at the last second, they cancel their huge orders and profit off the chaos they just created.
And listen, this is not just some theoretical thing that could happen. It did happen. On May 6, 2010, one single spoofer, a guy named Navinder Sarao, set off a chain reaction that sent the entire U.S. stock market into a complete nosedive. We're talking about the Dow dropping almost 1,000 points in just a matter of minutes. It was sheer panic.
And the damage? For a few absolutely terrifying minutes, $1 trillion in market value just, poof, vanished. $1 trillion, all because one person decided to manipulate the system for their own personal gain. If you ever needed proof that a single unethical decision can put the entire financial system at risk, well, that's it.
Okay, so after all these pretty scary stories, you might be wondering, how on earth do you navigate these decisions? Well, the legendary investor Warren Buffett has this brilliantly simple framework for it. He calls it the newspaper test. You see, Buffett's philosophy on this is incredibly simple, but so powerful. He says, look, you can afford to lose money, even a lot of money. You can always make that back. But your reputation, you can't afford to lose even a tiny shred of your reputation. Because once that's gone, it is almost impossible to get back. It is, without a doubt, the most valuable thing you own.
And the test itself is dead simple. Here's how it works. Before you're about to do something, anything, just pause and imagine an unfriendly but very smart reporter is going to write a story about it. And that story is going to be on the front page of the newspaper for everyone, your family, your friends, your coworkers, everyone to see. Now ask yourself, how would that make you feel? If the thought makes you squirm or feel embarrassed or ashamed, just don't do it. It's really that simple.
Because at the end of the day, ethics isn't really about some complicated rule book. It's about accountability. It's about your character. So we'll just leave you with this one last question to think about. If your actions, the ones you took today, were splashed all over the front page tomorrow, would you be proud?